Want to start off your day in a positive way? Stay tuned. We'll show you how. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on the Grand Strand Optimist Club, and we're visiting with one of its past presidents, local attorney Jim Feldman. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Greg.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
It is great to get you in the Herald, and think of so many things coming up. You got an amazing speaker this Thursday, and of course a big fish fry this weekend.
Yeah, we're excited. We got a lot going on with the Grand Strand Optimist Club. We meet every Thursday, and we meet at 12:30 at Pine Lakes Country Club.
That's a new location.
It is a new location. We've been at a couple others that have been good to us over the years. We've expanded and wanted to change it up, and the Pine Lakes Country Club seemed to be a great location, a beautiful building, nice facility.
Oh, yeah, stupendous.
Yeah.
They did a huge overhaul of that place, so maybe a year and a half ago?
Yeah, it's unbelievable if folks haven't been in there. So it's every Thursday at 12:30. You don't have to RSVP. You can just show up. Everybody's welcome. This Thursday we have Liz Gilland, the Horry County Council Chair. Nice. So we're excited to have her.
Yeah.
And coming up this Sunday, we have our annual fish fry. It's hosted at Krabby Mike's. They're down on the south end in Surfside.
Surfside.
And they do a great job for us. Every year we have our annual fish fry at that location, and all the proceeds from that fish fry go to the local YMCA.
And now it's different than most going to a restaurant and just sitting down. You've got actual Optimist Club members cleaning up, serving, doing everything.
Everybody, the owner, Mike Arakis, really opens the place up to us. And so from the kitchen staff to the folks that are bringing out the food, to the bartenders, to the hosts and hostesses, those are all Optimist Club volunteers that are there for the night.
Wow, even the bartenders.
Even the bartenders.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Now, does the restaurant really shut down for normal folks who be popping in, or do they?
It shuts down for normal business as well.
Wow.
Everybody that shows up, if they're not a part of the function, if they want to come in, obviously they're welcome to buy a ticket. It's only $7 for adults and $4 for children, and that's all you can eat fish fry, and it's the same fantastic fish that they serve all the time.
That is incredible. What a great commitment of Mike Arakis. He steps out over and beyond. It seems like every year, I think it's that location, the Myrtle Beach Area Hospitality Association hooks up with him for officer appreciation, and obviously the fish fry.
Yeah, the Optimist Club, just like all the other, I think, civic clubs in the area, really rely on local businesses to step up, and that's an excellent example of somebody who does.
Right. Jim, real quick about yourself for viewers who, and of course, one important thing, you talked about this Thursday's meeting with Chairman Gillen in there. Who's allowed to attend? Could our viewers just pop in and show up, or do they have to be invited?
No, absolutely. We welcome everybody to come from the public. The neat thing about the Optimist Club is that there is no attendance requirements like some other civic clubs.
Right.
And so and for that reason, we actually have some members that are school teachers and things that we don't get to see throughout the year, but then we see them in the summer.
Right.
And a lot of times when we do have an exciting speaker, in the past we've had Ron Engel with Coastal Carolina University.
Last Thursday.
Yeah, and we've had the solicitor of Horry County a couple of weeks ago. So folks like that bring attention to themselves, bring some great information to the community. So we welcome everybody to come for lunch and see if they like the club.
You're obviously taking Thanksgiving Day off.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We're taking Thanksgiving Day off. So nobody should be showing up on Thanksgiving.
One of the few Thursdays probably that y'all are not meeting.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. We got to watch the calendar every once in a while. If Christmas falls that way, which it doesn't this year, so we'll be there in December as well.
How exciting, Jim.
It is. It's
for viewers who may not have met you here on the Strand, or some of our viewers in the PD in southeastern North Carolina, are you originally from the area?
No, I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. And I moved down here about 8 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I went to the University of Rochester, which is just outside of Buffalo, for my undergrad degree in political science.
Political science,
yeah.
Jim.
And went to Ohio Northern University for law school right after that. And I actually took the bar in both states, South Carolina and New York, practiced in New York for about a year, and decided I'd see what the beach was like, and fell in love and been here ever since.
Yeah, I think I saw you practice for a short while with Gene Hudson, who's been a guest on the show a number of times and active with Optimist Club, and I think a past president like yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gene Hudson, for everybody who knows him, is a great guy and does a lot for the community. He was one of the guys that when I sent out resumes 8 years ago to all the attorneys in the area, he wrote back and said, hey, I got I run a little a lifeguard stand down here and do some law on the side. And if you want to come into the office, come on. And so that was my first job in the Grand Strand.
And the great thing about that is you enable him to have an office year-round, which he really couldn't managing his lifeguard services.
Yeah, I was down here helping him out a little bit in the summer, and so that's his busy time. Right. So if there were some things that needed to be handled, he let me do it, so it turned out to be a great relationship.
How exciting. I think I saw later you went into solo practitioner.
I did, actually. March 97 was when I started my own practice, sharing space with a couple other attorneys, and it's been that way ever since.
You have remained sharing space, I think, with different attorneys now, or you've moved in a new location. I saw that hot location over near Jerupes, over near
Yeah, it's a great. It's right next to Luigi's New York Deli. It's in the Pine Lakes Shopping Center, 5307 North Kings Highway, and it's a great looking 2-story terracotta building. I share space with Russell Long and Trent Chambers, 2 other attorneys on the Grand Strand.
How exciting! What was that like growing up in Buffalo, Jim? And what?
It was cold, Greg.
Yeah. Right now it must be nuts. Mid-November.
It's very cold. You know what? Buffalo is a great place to be from. Great people. Right near Niagara Falls, right near Canada. Right. You grow up being a Buffalo Bills fan. You know, a couple things you got to live with.
Yeah.
But it really is a neat community. And we used to vacation down here all the time as kids. We used to stay at the old Holiday Inn right there around 13th Avenue near the Yachtsman. We'd come down every year. And so when the opportunity presented itself to maybe come down, give it a shot, I took it. And since that time, my folks who had some property down here, they've moved down. My grandfather lives here now. So all of a sudden it's turning into home.
Yeah, I was about to ask you. You said we came down a lot. You've got brothers and sisters, Jim.
I do. I have a sister who lives in Orlando with her husband and 2 great kids. And then I have a twin brother.
A twin?
A twin.
Wow.
Who lives in Illinois with his wife. And we'll probably be seeing all of them here in Myrtle Beach for Thanksgiving.
In about a week. That's right. How exciting.
Yeah.
Now, Jim, when you say twin, is that fraternal or identical?
It's an identical twin.
Oh, come on.
Greg, we've known each other for a few years, and I think if you walked in, you'd definitely say hi to him thinking it was me.
Yeah. And I always wonder about that. Identical twins, they must begin to change a little bit over time.
Yeah, we do. And I think for folks that know us, family members and things, we got a lot of personality traits that are different. But again, for just the casual observer, you'd probably think, hey, is that Jim? Is that Tom walking in?
Wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of neat.
And he is named after your dad?
Yeah, he's actually Thomas James, named after my dad, and I'm actually James Thomas.
Aha, smart swap up there.
They didn't have another name. I was a surprise the day of the delivery. So
oh, come on, your mom didn't know.
She had no idea. Back then they didn't know, I guess. But so they just switched up the names, and that was it.
Wow, I'm sure she felt, I can't imagine not knowing. What a big deal.
I think it was a really big deal.
What was that like growing up with a twin brother, Jim? Is that something you talk about regularly, or was it any different, or
It's one of those things where I was always fortunate because you always had a best friend with you. Right. But it's one of those things where people ask me that, and honestly, I tell them I didn't know anything different. So it's really hard for me to say, how is it different than growing up without one, because I don't know. We were together, though, up until college. He went to the University of Tennessee, and I went to the University of Rochester. And that was a big transition because you always kind of have a running buddy, and so you kind of got to get on your own. So
Right. You often hear about twins who are neck and neck, valedictorian, salutatorian, or class president and senior class or school president, stuff like that. I think in talking to your mom and dad recently down at Brook Green Gardens, they'd mentioned to me that you all were similar in certain areas.
Yeah, I don't think we ever had to worry about valedictorian and salutatorian, but yeah, we were both real active in school, and so not really ever competing because there were certain things that we each liked, but yeah, it was fun.
You said you studied political science at University of Rochester.
Yep.
And then obviously attended law school right after that. Is that a normal route for folks who may not have attended college, may not even know what political science is? Is that a normal route for going into law school?
Yeah, it is, and I'll tell you what, it's probably not as exciting, honestly, for law schools right now, because there's so many folks that are getting their political science degrees. A lot of time, or history or English, those are like the typical majors that go into law school. A lot of times law schools, frankly, look for something a little different, somebody with a economics or engineering degree, things of that nature. I was always interested and had a fascination with history and politics and things growing up. And so for me, I just enjoyed the political science track more than the history track at University of Rochester, and that's why I went in that direction.
Yeah, what do you think got you interested in that? Was something from your folks, or was that just natural attraction to political science or politics and history?
Yeah, I think just a natural attraction. In high school, I decided to intern with our local congressman at the time, which was Jack Kemp. So just spent a month or two doing that, and ever since then, it's just been kind of in the back of my mind. And then when you do get a political science degree, there's a few things you can do with it. Frankly, one is going to teach, and if you're not going to teach, then you've probably got to go to law school, because you can't open up a political science shop somewhere and start selling products.
That's right. I'm sure folks, particularly folks who haven't attended college, hear that word political science and try to think the study of politics or the science of politics. That seems a little strange.
Yeah, I think it's real. It's a lot like history, except when you get into the history, then it's not so much the geography and things, but it's the how did the governments and the people interact and things of that nature.
Right. So exciting, Jim. Now, did you always think law was going to be for you?
No. In fact, I did not. And in reality, at the end or toward the end of my college career was when I thought, well, what direction do I want to go in? And I did not want to teach at that time. So it was one of these things where I had a roommate at the time. We both decided, well, let's at least apply to law school. Let's see what happens. He's actually decided not to do law, and he's a successful banker up in Boston. And I went this route, so it was just something that worked out.
You mean he got his law degree but's not using it?
No, he got into law school.
Okay, right.
And decided not to go that route and to go,
went into banking. You know, it's so fascinating how folks, and oftentimes a heck of a lot of folks will practice kind of on the side or not really take advantage of it, not renew or not even take a bar. Yeah,
and a lot of times, frankly, that amazes me, because law school, it took a long time and a lot of money. And so when some folks don't actually use it, good for them. If they don't need to, but
yeah, no, not to cut you off. I was just thinking that aspect of going out on your own, Jim. You know, of course, coming down to practice with an attorney, it's so exciting because of that tutelage and being able to pick up some street, learn the ropes through another attorney. But actually, going out on your own is a huge deal. Of course, you were blessed with that opportunity to share some space with Cliff and Marjorie and some others.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was great. Folks who've been practicing for a long time.
Yeah, I actually shared space with, as you mentioned, Cliff Tall and Marjorie Simmerman, two other attorneys here on the Strand. And you know Cliff because he's been active in all kinds of stuff, Friendship House and whatever. And they were working on a couple of different areas of law that I didn't, estate work and things of that nature, which I wasn't working on. So I was actually with them for about 3 years, been with this group of folks for about 4. It's working out great.
How exciting.
Yeah.
You know, Jim, when we think of you, so many activities. Obviously, you and I met back in '97 through Leadership Grand Strand.
Hard to believe it was '97.
I know. That is incredible. '97, '98, that 18, I think they're going into, 25 now or something like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about. But you've stayed active in so many areas. Of course, getting active in Optimist Club. And we want to talk more about Optimist Club and focus on Shirley Y'all's creed and what's behind Optimist Club. But some of those aspects of, I think you're on the Myrtle Beach Zoning and Appeals Board, and obviously active with the Mortgage Lenders Association, but have remained very active with Friendship House. And I remember you were the first who got me interested in the March of Dimes, having sponsored their tickets for a number of those chef's auctions for a series of years. And now, actually, the Herald and the Myrtle Beach Area Business Journal are presenting sponsors for the 2 big March of Dimes events in 2005.
Right. I think I was the guy who twisted your arm the first time around and said, I'm going to buy a table, why don't you buy a table?
That's right. I don't know if you haven't gotten a commission on that yet.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Kidding.
Yeah, but it's Myrtle Beach is a neat place because although we have so many folks that come to visit, everybody knows that it's a true locals place. And it's a local town of great businesses. And there are so many between March of Dimes, Friendship House, obviously the Optimist Club. There's so many great organizations. It's so easy to get involved in. And to go to any of these events, you know that too. It's really a gathering of friends more than anything else. You see everybody that you work with throughout the week.
Oh yeah, that's right. And Friendship House, you were intimately involved in. Now, were you brought into Friendship House through Cliff and Tori?
I'm sure. Yeah. You know, Tori Tall, the spokesperson for Friendship House for so long. I was on the board, I want to say 3 to 4 years, and it was a great opportunity. they do so much, for the kids in the area, and between that and the medical clinic that's, recently branched off.
Sure.
But all the stuff that they do, it's just over on Canal Street, it's just tremendous.
We think about other folks introducing you to things. You don't always think about those folks. For Optimist Club, I always hear about Hilda bringing so many folks in.
Sure.
I wonder if it was Gene Hudson. Is that who introduced you to Optimist Club?
That was definitely who introduced me. When I moved to the area, Gene said the very first thing you have to do is you have to go with me to the Optimist Club. And at the time, they were meeting at Uncle John's or someplace over around the mall.
Right.
And the first few people that I met were his, at the time, future wife, Mary Lee.
Right.
Hilda Carter, of course, but then some great leaders in the community like Susan Grissom Means, who's a past president, Phil Cox, Bill and Judy Blackburn, Tom Jones. I mean, all the folks that that just do so much in the area. It's a great club to be a part of.
Let's go ahead and get into Optimist Club. And, of course, the bulk of our viewers, again, in the PD in southeastern North Carolina, probably a heck of a lot of Optimist Clubs in those areas, Lumberton, Laurinburg, Florence, even Hartsville and Marion.
Yeah.
But focusing on Grand Strand Optimist Club, assuming there's a heck of a lot of the similarities in those areas. And real quick, if a viewer had to run to school or get off to work, would there be a phone number to learn more about the Optimist Club?
Yeah, you know what? The best way to do that would probably be to give me a call at my office.
Okay.
That's 843-449-1400. And anybody there can help them get to either the membership coordinator or somebody else and get you out a newsletter or get you to our website.
You all also have a website.
We do have a website, and that's www.grandstrandoptimist.org.
Okay, .org.
Yeah.
I always wonder why folks go with .org or rather than .com, if that's an opportunity.
You know what? I think it's because if you're a 501c3, then you go in that org direction. Don't quote me on that. But
I'm not going to quote you on that because, of course, if you're a nonprofit, you can still use .com. I could never figure out why folks don't take advantage of that.
Right.
Optimist Club's been around a heck of a long time. I think I saw you all have almost 250 members here on the Strand.
Yeah, we got about 240. I'm certain that we're the largest civic club in the area. And I know that we're one of the largest in Optimist International.
You're kidding?
Now, which includes, the United States, Canada, several other countries. So we're pretty proud of that. And again, one of the neat things, I like to plug it, is that there is no attendance requirements. We love to have everybody whenever they can get there. We have so many activities throughout the year that even if you can just participate in one or two of those things, we like to have you for that too.
What are some of the other big activities during the year? Obviously, we've heard about the spelling bee for so long, but y'all have a ton of activities.
We got a ton of activities, too many to name probably, but we mentioned the fish fry that we do every year. We have a spaghetti dinner that we do every year. We try and get out to the Horry County Shelter Home twice a year in the spring and in the fall to help them kind of clean up for the season, things of that nature, because they do so much for the area. We have a real special project that we do every August, which is the annual Bob Grissom Memorial Golf Tournament.
That's right.
And it means a lot to us because Bob was a past member of the Optimist Club, and Susan Grissom Means, his daughter, is a past president. And all the proceeds from that event, which goes over $10,000 each year, goes to the Horry County Shelter Home. So it meant a lot to him. It means a lot to us to continue on that tradition.
That is fantastic. I had no idea that you all netted that much each year that actually went to the home.
Yeah, so it's neat. And then aside from that, we help to sell Sun Fund T-shirts in the summer for the Sun Fund Festival. We have a Respect for Law program honoring our local police department and their local staff. Right. We have a youth in government program where the kids in the community actually get to shadow the Mark McBrides and the Tom Leiths of our city and follow them for a day and kind of get to know the inner workings of local government.
That is fantastic. I had no idea. Have you all ever taken the time, Jim, to add up the dollars that come in and go back out to the community?
Yeah, I think that we figure in excess of $40,000 a year goes out to the community. And the thing that we take pride in is that all the money that goes out goes to the youth of the community. The one tough thing about this area, there are so many great charities that are out there. It's kind of tough to pick and choose. And the neat thing is I think a lot of them work together nicely. And the one thing, the feather in our cap, is that, yeah, we're a community charity. Yeah, we're going to give money back. We're going to direct it toward kids if we can.
But The huge thing is y'all are so hands-on, Jim.
Yeah.
Y'all are so hands-on getting
Yeah.
out there. It's not just sending checks in.
Right.
I mean, it is actually getting out there, getting your hands dirty, getting them real dirty.
Real dirty. We actually, every September, we are the group that you see out there collecting garbage at the DuPont golf tournament at the convention center.
Wow.
When people are done with their plates, we grab their plates, throw 'em, and because the facility there gives us money for that operation, and then again, we try and kick that right back to the community.
That is fantastic, Jim.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
We got about 5 minutes. Now's a good opportunity. If you don't mind me putting you on the spot and
Yeah.
asking you if you'd be willing to recite the Optimist Creed.
I'd be happy to, Greg, and I'm going to cheat a little bit.
Oh, come on.
Just in case.
You don't get to cheat during club meetings.
I know, and that's why I'm going to take this opportunity now. Our creed is really great. It starts with promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet, to make all your friends feel that there is something in them, to look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true, to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best, to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own, to forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future, to wear a cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature you meet a smile, to give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others, to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to prevent the presence of trouble. And if you and I lived by that every day, we'd be doing pretty good.
Jim, those are great words. You know, as I look at that, you think about that, to wear a cheerful countenance at all times and
Sure.
give every living creature you meet a smile.
Yep.
That's so much an aspect of optimism, to make that effort. It really helps folks sit up thinking they're greeted by somebody with a smile.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just everything about it is positive and moving forward and not thinking about yourself as much as you're thinking about others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's tremendous.
You feel pretty confident that a heck of a lot of Optimist members really live by that creed.
I think so. And if you, again, some of the people that are in that club just to go at any given time, you see and we know a lot of the same people, the Mary Jo Rogers and the Robin Agnews and the folks that are in there, some great community business leaders that take the time every week, which is a big commitment, to go to lunch and then also participate in these activities.
I don't know if you knew it, Jim. Mary Jo Rogers is our new health and fitness columnist for the Herald.
I did not know that.
We're kicking that off a week after next.
And she is our incoming president for next year.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
Mary Jo is in everything. She's our auction chairman for the Heart Association for this year's Heart Ball.
Right.
She's the chairman of the board of Better Business Bureau. And, of course, I don't know how she finds the time to do all of her cardio, combat, and kickboxing, everything.
It's unbelievable. Dynamic individual. We're excited to have her for next year.
Yeah, that is big, Jim. You know, what is that like? Do incoming presidents consult y'all as to some of the things to do? I think Judy Blackburn recently, and obviously Tom.
Tom Wesley's our current president. He's doing a great job. Yeah, and what happens is we have a neat group of about 20 individuals now that are past presidents. George Cox was actually the first person to bring Optimist to the Grand Strand. But then every year we all get together to kind of figure out who should be our next president. And then throughout the year, whoever the president is knows that they can absolutely call on any one of us to step up and help them out if they need something. Yeah, great folks, though.
Jim, you think about your folks having moved down,
Yeah.
almost following you. Obviously, y'all have been coming down, as you said, as a family for so long.
We've been coming down for a long time, and they actually had a piece of property down here that they were actually renting out. The folks that were renting it out eventually moved out, and so that's where they're living now in Little River.
And your grandfather's moved down as well.
And my grandfather's here, too. So that's really kind of neat.
I've gotten to know your dad better through service on the Horry Georgetown Tech Foundation Board,
Right.
who's a superstar, and your mom's been so active with the Red Cross.
She's been real active with the Red Cross, and now she's the director of volunteers for Conway Hospital.
Is that right?
Yeah,
she's
had that job.
slammed then.
Yeah, she's a busy lady.
Wow, Jim, think about that aspect of now practicing law since '96. You know, that's almost a decade. I mean, we're only 18 months or so shy of being a decade.
Yeah, and it seems odd, just like talking about how I can't believe it's been 8 years since we've been through Leadership Grand Strand.
Right.
And to think about that, law school is that far away.
Yeah.
I guess we're all getting old.
Jim, if you weren't currently practicing law and focusing primarily on real estate law, what do you think you'd be doing?
I don't know. Again, the direction that I took early was to go to law school. And kind of once you make that choice or direction, then I think, you're going to be practicing some kind of law. I had a lot of buddies at the time, girls and guys, that went into business instead. So maybe in business. I'll tell you what, the law school gave me the opportunity to have the freedom to move down here. And for that, forever grateful, because this is home.
You think about Optimist Club and that creed, just reciting that, hearing you recite that, it reminds you of so many folks in your life. You think about your folks giving you that opportunity, to get to law school, and obviously to grow up in Buffalo and now live down here. When you think about those, are there inspirations that really stick out in your mind, Jim?
Well, I do. I mean, I tell folks all the time, if somebody says, gives me a compliment or what have you, I share with them that, I learned from the best, my parents. Active, good folks, positive, and frankly, leaders now in this community.
That's great. Those are great words. Thanks for being with us this morning,
Hey,
Jim.
It was a pleasure, Greg. Good to see you.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Jim Feldman coming up next. Isn't it great to hear a guest talk about an inspiration being their parents? You think so many folks who take the time in life to sit back and remember their upbringing and the folks that stepped into their lives and had a monumental impact. Think about a roommate who's thinking about applying to law school and gives that inspiration to somebody 21, 22, 23-year-old who really may not know exactly where they're heading, but are blessed to have met that person. You think of attorneys like Gene Hudson, who introduced Jim to Optimist Club, which opened the door for him to get so active in so many community affairs and meet so many other special folks like Cliff Tall, and so many others who step out constantly and make that effort to introduce folks to things that they may step into and be involved in the rest of their lives. It's that creed, and I encourage you to take the time to go to grandstrandoptimist.org so you can see that creed recited. This may be a group you can get active in and be as active as Jim. Could be past president someday. Could be future president someday. The excitement's upon us. Give him a call, 843-449-1400, to find out where an Optimist chapter is in your community.